Welcome to the Binge List. I am your host, Paul Chappell. Let's talk about The Boys on Amazon Prime. Yeah, let's talk about this gross-ass show. Okay, look, I did not want to review this show, didn't review the first season. I kind of got pulled into its orbit a little bit because right now it is probably the most successful thing on Amazon Prime. That's not saying much because Amazon Prime sucks for the most part. I mean, I reviewed a few shows on that service, and I gotta say, they tend to lean toward teenage-themed shows. And what I mean by that is the shows are pretty juvenile. Hunters was juvenile. And it's gross. The show is just freaking gross. I saw the promotions for the show first season, and there's a scene where one of the main characters' girlfriend's stepping out on the pavement and she gets run over by a superhero that has flash-like powers. And I was like, there's no way in hell I'm going to review that. It does not fit my channel. The only thing that fits my channel is the fact that it is a superhero type show. But a few of my friends harassed me, told me how great it was. So I started watching the first season and I thought, yeah, it's mostly trash. And the conceit of the show I thought had been already answered by Watchmen. If you don't know what the show's about, if you've never heard of it, you've never seen it, it's basically the idea that what would happen if superheroes really existed in our modern world, because most of what you see in superhero movies is a fantasy. The whole thing with superheroes not killing and stuff like that, it's all a fantasy. It obviously wouldn't work that way if we really had superheroes. Obviously, they would be selfish people. They would be prone to abuse their power, just like the police abuse their power. But it was asked and answered in Watchmen. The whole thing where superheroes would eventually be banned by the government, I think that would definitely happen if they were real. So there was a lot of things that were covered in Watchmen, and I didn't feel like I needed to revisit that. Okay, the second reason I didn't like it was, in fact, what I already said. It was gross. It seems like they can't have an episode without somebody's head exploding or body exploding or somebody getting decapitated. It's kind of like that whole phase that Game of Thrones went through where somebody was getting raped every other episode. So yeah, it's kind of like that. And like I said, it's so juvenile and so against everything I feel about superheroes in my heart. And I would admit, it's a fantasy that somebody like Captain America could exist. Somebody could be that good at all. So yes, I understood that. Most of these characters in this show are more like a very evil version of Tony Stark. They're selfish. They're all about the money. They're being ruled by a corporation, all of that. But, okay, so I admit that. It had a lot of failings. But once you get past those failings, here's the thing. There was actually some good things about the show, and I'm going to admit that the writing was pretty damn good. The characters were well written, three-dimensional. The main character had great motivations. He, light spoilers from here on out, but the main character, his name is Billy Butcher, played by Carl Urban. And he wants to find his wife. Actually, he has two motivations. He wants to find his wife, and he wants to seek revenge on one of the main superheroes, a superhero called Homelander. He thinks Homelander raped his wife, and she disappeared not long after. He doesn't know whether Homelander had her killed or whatever. So, yes, the writing was good. The second thing I would say that was good about it was the acting was just great. It's kind of ironic that this show is called The Boys because I feel like the star of the show is Erin Moriarty. She plays a character called Starlight or Annie January. And she's really the heart of the show and why I really watch the show. And like I said, it's kind of ridiculous that they call it The Boys when this woman takes such a prominent role on the show. And even this newest season, they make a point of bringing up how important all the female superheroes are. But I guess it's based on a graphic novel called The Boys, so they call it The Boys. But I think they could have came up with a better name. But every character's given some kind of interesting backstory, especially the bad guys. Like Homelander, this guy who plays Homelander, Anthony Starr. I thought I was going to hate this guy, just outright just hate him in every way, hate the actor. I've kind of been carried away by this actor's portrayal of Homelander. Now, Homelander is a sociopath, don't get me wrong, but there's so many dimensions to his personality and the way he's portrayed. It's just fascinating for me to watch. All that's excellent. If you want to learn how to write well and concisely and powerfully, I recommend this show. But like I said, it had some problems. The reason why I've reevaluated it is because I realized watching it, Watchmen really didn't deal with a couple of things that this show has tackled on its own, and that's primarily the militarization of the police. And that's something, of course, that Watchmen couldn't deal with because Watchmen came out in the 80s. The reason why that makes this show significant in my eyes is that this is certainly something that our government would have done post 9/11. They would have, superheroes really existed, they would have totally enlisted them in the military and the police force, in every facet of American life that deals with law and order. And why do I say that? Well, that's exactly what they did with the police after 9/11. And it was kind of an overreaction because if you think about it, the terrorists that committed 9/11, they used box cutters to take over the planes. And yet here we are, the police are getting hand-me-down weapons from the military, vehicles from the military. So that rang true to me when I saw it in this show. The fact that, yes, superheroes would have been employed in this way, and the amount of accountability that they don't have runs parallel to what we're experiencing with police this day. So I like that aspect of it. There's a new character this season. Amazon released 3 episodes so far. They're going to release a new episode every Friday. Last season there was 8 episodes, so I'm expecting there to be 8 episodes this season too. So we'll see. But there's a new character called Stormfront, and the big reveal is that she's a white supremacist. Now I saw this coming from a mile away. I mean, Stormfront was obviously going to have some kind of racial connotations to it. There's a very popular white supremacy site called Stormfront, so that wasn't surprising to me. Just her whole attitude, the fact that part of her head is shaved, everything about it just screamed that she was going to be some kind of white supremacist. And I was right about it. In the last episode, they kind of revealed that in the final moments of the episode. So I'm looking forward to see what this show has to say about white supremacy, because that is also a problem that we're experiencing in America right now. And it's kind of weird because the main superhero, the Homelander, he has a cape that's an American flag. When I first started the show, I kind of knew he was going to be an a-hole, because it seems to me like everybody who wraps themselves in the cloth of patriotism, they turn out to be an a-hole at the end of the day. I mean, what's that old quote? If fascism were ever to come to America, it would be wrapped in an American flag. Well, that's certainly true here. And I thought that in a lot of ways, he would turn out to be more of a white supremacist. In a lot of ways, he is, but he's more of the bent that superheroes themselves are superior to regular humans and that they're gods. So in that way, he is a little bit of supremacist. But yeah, I'm looking forward to see where they take that whole theme this season. And that's why I'm recommending it now. I went from not even wanting to review it to yes. I'm recommending that if you are concerned as I am about some of these themes of racism, white supremacy, police militarization, that you watch this show, because I think it exposes some of the problems we have, and in particular, the way corporations are taking over so many aspects of our lives, the way social media is taking over so much of our lives. Because what happens in this series is that the superheroes are celebrities. They're treated like celebrities. They trend on Twitter, and they have pages on Facebook, and they're on Instagram, and all those things that are a pitfall of our current society. That's what these superheroes are all about. So yes, I am encouraging you, watch it. I will warn you, if you're very conservative, if you don't like cursing, there's a lot of F-bombs. And like I said, there's a gross out every episode. So if you're squeamish, yes, I would advise you to avoid this like the plague. But otherwise, if you like good writing, if you like those themes that I mentioned, go ahead and watch it. It's on Amazon Prime every Friday till the season ends. And it's already been picked up for season 3. But that's all I got for today. I'd like to thank my subscribers and encourage you, hit that subscribe button. If you're already a subscriber, ring the bell so you know when my next video drops. Give me a like, a dislike, whatever, and a comment if you please. And that's all I got. And I will see you when I see you. Thanks for watching.